students that listening a recorded material. I don't know, what do you think?
Well, recording material for them is very difficult, even for the about the pronunciation, the different pronunciation and different. For example, it's not the same the British as the American English, so sometimes it's the difference, no? The good thing about the recording material is because you have to record and try to practice and practice same again. But when they are with live speakers, they feel a little nervous because they have in front of the person, but at the same time they are a little surprised when they understand what they were learning. No? Okay, for the beginners it's difficult because they are very, very nervous about the language. They don't know, they don't understand anything. But little by little, the good thing about the recorder is because they practice and practice and practice. And when they have the opportunity to listen a live speaker, is the time when they understand that they have learned a little, but they have learned something, or they can communicate with the live speaker, or listen, or understand. Well, in my experience, that happened. No, is this.
Okay, okay. Why is listening difficult for your students?
I think that
Because nowadays we live in a world that moves like faster and wants and every student wants the situations or the problems resolved like really fast. So maybe that's why it's more difficult for them the listening because there's not like actual more like visual support.
I do agree with that because at least for me and my classmates, whenever we're doing a listening exercise or exam, the most difficult part is not actually hearing what they're saying, but paying attention to it because it's very easy to dissociate and start paying attention to other things or just start thinking about what you're gonna do next instead of being there in the moment.
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
And the last question, I think for me, I have students, but they are like in preschool. So most of the listening I do, it's with like it comes with gestures or like some videos because it has to be attractive for the kids. So I think I like it, but I have to mix the listening with something visual or with some movement because if I don't do that with preschoolers, I think they get lost and at the end of the day, they won't understand the same way that they do when I give them like that support of the movements and the
For your student. Like, okay, why is
I
listening difficult for your students? And how do you, as a teacher, feel about doing listening exercises in class?
Okay, for my students, it's difficult because of the pronunciation, because I have Cambridge books, and they get confused sometimes with pronunciation.
Because they don't have the complete vocabulary.
And
They lack
vocabulary.
the vocabulary, and that makes it hard for them to understand the complete
They want to
context.
emulate you, but they can't because they don't have the skills, no?
Yes. Yes, they don't have the vocabulary, and as they don't have it, they don't know how it's pronounced. So maybe they get lost.
Yeah, because they don't know the meaning.
Yes.
And
For example,
also, it's important that they are interested in the topic because
Yes.
sometimes the audios are boring to them, so they don't pay attention to what
Yes.
it is being.
Mhm.
Or maybe, you know, when there are conversations, when it's I don't know, Lori and Sam, and they talk and they respond to each other, sometimes they get like mixed and who is speaking and who is who.
Don't have a clue.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And how do you as a teacher feel about doing listening in class?
I think it's helpful because if you only read, like, okay, like you get like the grammar and everything, but at the end of the day, it's a way of communicating, so it's
Do you see
helpful too.
problems between the students that you have?
well, they
Uh-huh.
need exposure
You
to
know,
the
help them.
spoken language, don't they, as well?
Yes.
Because if not, they will never be able to pick up, for
Mm-hmm.
example, pronunciation.
Yes, and because they get used to us, they get used to our accents, they get used to our way of saying things, our vocabulary. And when we expose them to listening exercises, it's different. It takes them out of our bubble in the classroom, you know? And in my personal experience, I love doing listening exercises with legends, with songs, with stories, with all sorts of things. And my students respond really well to them. So yeah.
And also you prepare them for the listening part of the certification exam.
Yeah.
Like when they get used to it and they lost their nervous and the feeling, they get it's like a part of, and they get used to it. So they're
Yes,
not nervous
yeah.
anymore when they're facing an exam for certification.
Yes, because in my experience, when they don't understand something, they blocked. I mean, they
Yes.
are
Yeah.
like, I don't understand this word, and then I didn't understand the rest of the listening, you know, because they have like a stop there and everything goes black. So that exercises helps them you know,
Yes,
get used to.
to master the listening skills.
Yes.
And what would you do when you don't have access to play listening speeches or to put songs or to have the internet connection or the things that you need to play a video to make them listen? What are the tools that you use to make them listen?
Oh, yeah, okay.
You're pretty much done, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Let's
Okay.
close.
Okay.
Just going to make some summarizing comments. I heard some very good suggestions. Let's have a new whiteboard. There we go. So, key points regarding listening to recorded materials versus listening to live speakers. See if you agree with these points, but these are in my notes. Well, experts suggest that both are useful. Recordings can be stopped and played again. But unless they're a video, there's no body language to help the students with the comprehension. Whereas live speakers can be asked to repeat their words or rephrase what they have just said. That's not available usually with the recordings. Regarding classroom, the language in prepared materials can be listened to for the content first. So that's easy when you're preparing materials, right? You can look at the audio script and you can anticipate what students are going to have problems with. So that's one advantage of using recorded materials. So moving on to why is it difficult? Some people said that, well, more than one person might be speaking. And native speakers often speak quickly and they've got different accents, haven't they? Now, from the student's point of view, the difficulty is that they try to understand every word. Yeah, so maybe we need to develop the sub-skill of reading, listening for gist. There may be no control, and there could be a feeling of pressure or panic on the part of the students, especially if they need to respond, right? It's one thing to ask them to listen, another thing to listen and respond. So that can cause panic, can't it? Sometimes, and very often, there's no visual support unless it's a video and the speaker uses their hands or uses visuals. Joaquin, you have a point to make.
Yeah, I believe that if students don't know keywords or phrases, they will struggle to understand overall meanings.
Right. Correct. Yes. They've got to grasp like some keywords or phrases, don't they? And then precisely this, language and listening skills are sometimes mixed together, making it harder for the students because if there's a high proportion of unknown vocabulary or unknown grammar, it's going to make it more difficult for them. So, any interesting comments from you as the teacher regarding listening exercises? Any comments from you guys? How do you feel about doing listening exercises in class? Do you feel confident about using coursebook listening exercises?
Yes, I think they're a vital part of teaching English or any other languages. It's really crucial and it's really helpful.
Uh-huh. But what about non-coursebook materials, listening materials? Do you feel confident about those?
Yes, definitely. I think we can connect with students better with those than with the text things that are in the books. And I in my personal experience, I ask my students to give me like songs and artists and performers that they love, and
Oh, great.
songs, according to their taste.
Yeah.
And we sometimes with the advanced students, I make them write the lyrics from scratch. From scratch, listening with their earphones or whatever, and they write them from scratch. Or with the others, I print the lyrics with blanks, and they have to fill the hardest words. And they like
that must be very motivating for them.
Yes, they love it. They
Lupita.
expect listening lessons like very much, and they keep sending me lyrics that they want to work with, and
Wow.
songs, and through music. For me, it's better.
Yeah. Great.
Yes.
Sometimes for in my experience, the use of the material that we have in the textbook is useful in the basic levels, no? Because it's
Yeah.
the first time that they have they know the knowledge, they listen. It's difficult with the different accents, no? But it's very interesting when they little by little they learn. Okay, it depends on the strategies that we as a teachers give them in order to listen carefully or have this how do you like to listen, because sometimes they get boring by if they are a huge conversations um, or speech, no? But it depends of the strategy, no? When we make them or understand that they need to pay attention, and little by little, when they can listen by themselves in a song or a conversation or in a movie,
Sure.
and they immediately listen one word, they feel very well by themselves because they know that they are learning. Well, in my experience, I know that. I noticed that.
Sure thing. Ah.
I believe for beginners, I might use slow, clear recordings that emphasize on basic vocabulary and structures so they can understand better. And for advanced students, I can introduce authentic material like podcasts or maybe news or reports or casual conversations to challenge their listening comprehension
Ah.
skill.
Yeah, podcasts are a very good resource, aren't they, for listening? And those are authentic listening materials, which are very often more motivating for the students than the course book materials, aren't they? Okay, so we're going to talk about some advantages and disadvantages of different listening activities. Okay? So there's a handout for this, but I noticed that some of the terminology is a bit outdated. They still use the word tapes. So I've on the I've decided to update it a bit. Here we are. Page 6. There we go. So I've sent it through the chat, and you'll see you're going to think about advantages and disadvantages of these listening type activities. Okay. To make it a bit more interactive, I've put them on Google Forms, Google Docs. And I've done the first one for you. So it looks like this. So, activity. Teacher asks learners to predict the vocabulary they will hear in the listening. Okay, so advantages of that is that students are then ready to listen and have something specific to listen for. So it gives a purpose if they're predicting. The negative is that they may not predict any vocabulary which actually appears in the text. Yeah? So to help them, I think we probably need to tell them the topic of the listening before they begin. So, Anna, Eduardo, Marfa, Sylvia, Andrea, and Mariana, can you please work on this one? Please click on. Group B, it's Aitana, Heidi, Jesus, Paula, and Joaquin. And group C is going to be Alejandra, Ines, Leslie, Lourdes, Sebastian, and Lupita. So try and think of the possible advantages and disadvantages of each of those. And at the end, we'll check the answers. Please click on confirm that you received the link. I'll give you about 15 to 20 minutes to do this, a bit longer, because it might require some thinking. Let's begin. To the breakout rooms. Guys, can you please go to the breakout rooms if you'd be so kind? Thank you.
Mhm. We're still missing someone, no?
Yeah, Maria Fernanda is here.
No, here's, but there was Sebastian or somebody also. Now we lost Mafer also.
Oh dear. Don't let that hold you back.
Okay.
I'll help them to join you. So please share the screen. And one of you could perhaps take the notes and the other people suggest.
Okay. I don't know.
So the first one is teacher plays the audio once, asking students to listen to the main ideas. What do you think then the advantage would be for that? Could one of you please share?
Okay. Sure.
You sure?
Yeah. You can do
You're,
it.
yeah.
Okay. Share. There's one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't see it yet. Excuse me. Yeah.
That's it.
Ready.
That's it. Good.
Yeah, we can see it. Okay, teacher plays the audio.
The thing is for one time, because in reality, that's what happens. You just listen to things once, not twice.
Yes, and I also think it would help because they would like focus more and concentrate to at least hear one of the main ideas. So
Yeah, I guess it helps students develop the ability to understand spoken language in real time.
Mhm.
And now we have to give a disadvantage.
A disadvantage could be that they are not able to get everything. Just one more time.
Yes, because sometimes you play like once the audio, but some of them may not catch at all the ideas or have information about the listening.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe because it's the listening is too fast. I mean, they are speaking too fast and they get lost.
Yeah.
And it depends on the level, right? Because if they are beginners, then you should like play listening in a slow and clear recordings, right?
Yes, and also the vocabulary. Maybe they don't know everything that they are
But
listening to. So
guys, there are really not many disadvantages to playing it once with the main idea because it's when you're developing a skill, we can't expect students to develop that skill all at once, right? So you, for them to develop the skill of listening for gist, they're going to have to listen to a lot of texts, right? And they're obviously not going to get the main idea all at once, all the time. So I think people worry too much about
So,
them not getting it.
so based on your experience, how many times do you think that it's that it might be good to play the listenings or to repeat the listening?
Twice.
Twice?
Twice, yeah. Once for gist or the general idea, and then once again for a more detailed listening. That's usually what's recommended. Yeah. And playing it more than that doesn't necessarily help because it just means that the students won't necessarily get it if you play it a third time. What can be more useful is to have the audio script ready, right? The transcript. Does that
So,
make
thank
sense?
you.
Yeah. Anyway, keep
Next
thinking about
one.
these.
mhm.
Teacher plays the audio for the second time and learners can more details.
Mm, they get the chance to reaffirm
Reinforce.
their ideas. Yes, reinforce their ideas.
Yes.
And comprehension, no? Because we were talking that they get so attached to the main idea that they stop listening everything else. So they maybe understand the context or something.
Yeah. And they comprehend better. Yeah.
Disadvantage.
Mm.
Maybe they pay too much attention to the detailed task that they don't listen the whole audio and they don't follow the whole story.
Yes. I think
They
that, yeah.
they forgot to add important other information just for getting involved in having the detail correct.
Yes.
If
In
if
yeah.
there is an audio and you ask them to listen to how old were the characters, they forgot their names or what they were doing, and they just pay attention to the age.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Can we move to the next one or
Yes, I
someone
think
has anything else to say?
I don't.
Okay, you. Teacher plays the text sentence by sentence and asks the learners to repeat what they hear. Pronunciation, no? It helps with
Helps with pronunciation, yes.
Yes, but I don't know why it's happening something like that. Bueno, X. It helps with pronunciation, comprehension, also.
Sometimes the meaning when it's a new phrase, or for example, a idiom
Vocabulary, yeah, meanings.
or phrasal verbs.
Yes. Yes, because if they repeat, then you can correct them. You can correct the pronunciation. You can ask what they understood.
Okay.
Corrections, right? Disadvantage.
If they are supposed to repeat it all, like all those students at once, some don't speak. Like in the shame of they will be, was that like maybe I'm saying it wrong, so I won't say anything.
Yes, that makes them to panic, right? Panic.
And also playing the text sentence by sentence won't help them when they are in an exam. They don't do that in a certification. So it will be bad for them to do this, I think.
Yeah, if it's like a regular dynamic that you do all the time and they get used to being repeated, everything like slowly and the teacher correcting.
Anything. And if they get used,
They're gonna start. You have a second chance.
Yes.
So they don't pay attention in the first one as much because they know they are getting the second chance.
They will be a little lazy students. So what we can write there in the disadvantage? Students aren't allowed to. No.
It's just to
Students.
have a second chance, maybe.
Okay. If you want to write, they wait for a second chance. Students wait for a second chance. No? On the And you say they can afford? To pay attention, no? Okay, well. Number 4. Teacher plays the text and sentences by sentence and asks the learners to repeat what they hear.
I think that they can learn pronunciation in a natural way.
Yes. Yes.
By
describe
repetition.
something. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, because it's repetition, it's not learning, no? So it's a disadvantage. Maybe advantage is the pronunciation, no? Maybe one advantage
And
is the
another,
and disadvantage.
They find the spots that they don't understand. No? It's more like I don't understand this and that. And I was blind in this.
Guys,
Or,
you don't have too much time left, so move on to the next one, yeah? Yeah, that's a good one. Can be boring to have the text repeated. It's normally once for gist and once for detail or specific information.
Okay. So for the sixth activity, the teacher plays the audience stops the tape recorder after short phrases and asks students to write down what they hear. The advantage would be maybe catching all details.
It's like catching all the words that they said. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And disadvantage?
Well, I think that disadvantage could be like you're stopping in every short phrase. You don't know like the whole idea that you're listening to.
If you're not sure, just move on to the next one, yeah? Time is moving on.
Okay. What's the next one?
Teacher plays the audience, students react by drawing. Me.
And some are not as creative as others.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next one. Students read a copy of the audio script and as they listen. Great for follow-up.
Yeah.
For no follow-up. Following the audio.
And pronunciation.
Comprehension.
Yeah.
We have 2 more minutes. This kind of activity. Not remember. This kind of activity.
Peace. Read for following
Okay.
audio.
Comprehension, you said, Maria?
Yes.
Also for their writing skills.
Mm-hmm.
And writing skills. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And disadvantage?
I think it's a really passive way of making a listening because you're not doing anything.
They're more focused on following the copy they're reading than the listening.
Yes. It's really passive for me.
A passive approach
It's a passive
to listening activities.
listening activities. I guess so.
Okay, so the concept activity. Okay. Can somebody okay, se acabó. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I'm just going to go through the suggested answers, see if yours were similar. So the first one, Teacher plays the audio once, asking students to listen to the main idea. Well, it's pretty essential because students need to familiarize themselves with the text before doing any more detailed listening, right? And generally, with reading and listening, we go for the top down first, the general, and then we go to the specific. Right? So there aren't really any negatives to that I can think of, although let's see if there are any suggestions. Students might not get the best idea, but they need just to give the students lots of chance to do just listenings because they need to develop this top-down process. They need to go from the general to the specific, whether it's listening or to reading. It's just one of those accepted procedures with reading or listening. Nice. Plays for the second time. Yeah, so the advantage is that students are more able to listen for detail when they have already heard the text once. Now, but the task needs to be carefully designed to focus on comprehension rather than specific words. That's quite important, listening for detail. Teacher plays text sentence by sentence and asks the learners to repeat what they hear. Well, on the positive, it can be listened to a number of times, and the text models the language and the pronunciation for the students. So that can be good for students to listen and repeat, develop their pronunciation. Negative, students don't always accurately hear what has been said, and students can feel under a lot of pressure when repeating. Number 5, the teacher plays the same text several times, and each time the learners get a different task to do. The positive is that students can feel the listening is manageable when they're able to listen a number of times, each time with a slightly different task. But make sure that the tasks increase in difficulty and focus so students don't get bored with the text. Yeah? Normally, when I teach listening skills, I do a just listening and then I do a different type of listening the second time. It could be detail, it could be specific information. But if the students are still not getting it, then I have the audio script ready and I share the students, get the students to look at the audio script to check their answers. Right? Because sometimes they feel that there's things that they still haven't understood. So if you have the audio script, that can be handy. Number 6, teacher plays the audio, stops the recorder after short phrases and asks the students to write down what they hear. On the positive, students have time to write what they've heard rather than react orally. This type of task focuses on accuracy and so enables the teacher to see what students have understood. It's like a dictation. The negative, the writing leads students to focus on spelling and punctuation, neither which is relevant to when listening to spoken language. Okay, fair enough. Number 7, teacher plays audio, students react by drawing, miming, moving around the classroom. This can be good for younger learners in particular, can't it? This non-linguistic task takes the pressure off production away from the students. They're able to follow their peers if they are weak. Some students may feel they're being treated younger than they are. Using the tape script or audio script, this can be handy as a prop for weaker students, and it can naturally focus on aspects of pronunciation. Yeah, maybe they're hearing a word, but they want to see it read in text. Students on the negative side do not feel the need to really listen. The task has a reading focus rather than a listening one. So yes, that has its dangers as well. Let me just share this with you. It's that one. Send. Yeah, there you go. I've got one more activity for you. Don't know if you had any comments before we move on. Just to point out, there is no session until October 18th. So you've got a 2-week break, guys. So that's time for you to do your online asynchronous work on the website. So 27th to the 8th, you're supposed to do learner characteristics, learner needs, and approaches to language learning. And from October the 8th to the next session, which Ana Rosa will give on the 18th, you're doing grammar and functions. So let's just have a quick look what that looks like. So background to language learning. That's what next week's work is. Basically all of this.
So that's all the homework we need to start doing.
Yeah. But remember, there's no live session next week. So you work at your own pace on this. And then from October the 8th to the 18th, it's this. Grammar and functions. That makes sense? Any doubts, queries, concerns, frustrations?
Yeah.
Go on, Lupita. What's your frustration?
That that are we supposed to do like all the 100,000 things that are in the lessons? Like, can you put them back, please?
Yeah.
Where is located this task?
Okay, they're in start, so okay.
Okay, you don't see this when you first go in. You see like this, don't you? And then you see these blocks.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's 2 and 3.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay, so 2 and 3 are for these 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay, so just to finish off, we're going to do a little reading activity to consolidate what we've done today. Um, and it's going to combine both reading and listening. Okay, it's going to pull them together, as it were. So before we do the reading, there's a little bit of pre-teaching of vocabulary, right? So all of these orange words are in the text you're going to read. So schemata, cohesion, genre, and coherence. Can you help me to match the orange with the blue? What's schemata then?
For example, cohesion, but and or match with links between sentences.
Ah, yes, you're going for the easy one. Yeah, that's correct. Links between sentences. Yeah, those help. Those words, but, and, or, they can link clauses together or they can link sentences, can't they?
Schemata would be logical connections between ideas with text.
No.
No. So
Yeah, knowledge
Knowledge of word
Knowledge of the world.
It's
Knowledge of the world. Yeah.
and gender is different types of
and
text.
Text and logical
Different types of text, yes.
ideas.
And
And
coherence,
coherence is
logical connections.
connections, yes.
just the coherent stuff.
Yeah, so if we say something is coherent, we usually say it means logical sense, right? We can see the train of thought. Okay, good. Now, those are words you're going to need for the text. I'm going to give you a Google form, and it looks like this. Now, I'll give you the text in Word format as well, but you'll probably find it easier online to use this, what I'm going to share with you. Okay, so you're going to read this text quickly, and we're going to do a gist reading exercise. Reading for gist is reading for the general idea. So in course book materials, you'll often find that a typical gist exercise is to match paragraphs to the summaries or the summaries to the paragraphs. Right? So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 subheadings, and you've got to match the numbers to the letters. Right? So if you think that the topic of paragraph A is tips for teachers, then you put A. But you put that, right? So I'm going to give you this through the chat, and I'm going to give you like literally how many minutes? You're going to do it quickly, okay? See how quickly you can do it. I'm going to give you 3 minutes maximum to read this and match. Now, I'll also give it to you in the harder copy, so you can look at it after the class if you want to. There you go. So starting now, 3 minutes. 30 seconds. If you're done, you can be submitting. Press the purple button. Let's check. See how well you did. Oh, 4 or 5 responses. Great. Please, the rest of you, submit. Time is up. So you can see that reading for gist normally is fast, isn't it? And most of you said it was language skills, and that is indeed the correct answer. Yeah, because it contrasts productive skills versus receptive skills in that first paragraph, doesn't it? Yeah. On to paragraph B. The answer is nature of texts. Yes, 55% of us got it right. Well done. Because it discusses what is a text. It's usually longer than a word or sentence. Usually contains a series of sentences connected by grammar and or knowledge of the world. So yeah, nature of text. C, text types and subskills. Ooh, only a minority got it right this time. The answer is the yellow one, text types and subskills, because it talks about different subskills. Listening or reading for gist, listening or reading for specific information, listening and reading for detail, and then other types of reading or listening. Good job. Paragraph D is all about lessons, types of receptive skills lessons. Again, a minority got it right. It's actually the blue one there. Yeah. But it's receptive skills lessons. So which one was not needed? Which subheading didn't we need?
Tips for teachers.
Tips for teachers. Yes, great. Now, we're going to read again. This time, I'd like you to, you've got questions, 4 questions. So you've got a bit more time, and I'd like you to write the answers here directly into the Google form. You can see there's a space. How many language skills are there in English? How are they divided? What are the main receptive sub-skills? What are the main differences between the 3 stages in the receptive skills lesson? And why are receptive skills important on a teacher training course? Like this. Now, please find the link into the chat. Confirm you have the link. You've got 5 minutes to answer these more detailed questions. Starting now. Oh, please submit your answers when you're ready. We don't have much time left, so let's have a quick bit of feedback, see if we can clarify any remaining doubts that you might have. Please actually submit your answers through chat, through the Google form. Great, I've got 10. Fantastic. Yeah. Okay, so there are actually 4. Yeah. Um, the receptive ones, reading and listening. The productive ones are writing and
Speaking.
speaking. Yeah, so you got 4 in total, but they're divided in 2, aren't they? Yeah. So you're right, there are receptive and productive skills, but there are 4 in total because there are 2 in each. Yeah. This one is correct. But it's 4 skills in total you need to say. Yeah. This is correct. Yeah, 4 skills: speaking, listening, writing, reading, and writing. What are the main receptive subskills? This is correct. Reading or listening for gist or skimming. Reading or listening for specific information or scanning. Now, here's a little technical point. Skimming applies to reading. Gist applies to both. Put that in the chat there. Okay, we can't skim when we're listening because it's something you do with your eyes. Yeah, it's like moving your eyes quickly across the text. Yeah. Scanning also applies to reading. The equivalent skill for listening is called listening for specific information. Yeah. When it's reading, we also call it reading for specific information.
Could be reading comprehension? No.
Well, they're all types of reading comprehension. They're just working at different levels.
Okay.
Yeah. But scanning is applying to reading when we're looking for individual words. And detail is when we're trying to understand ideas or at the sentence or paragraph level. So those are the main ones. It also mentions inferencing, doesn't it? Inferences. Other ones are extensive reading, and intensive reading or listening. Okay, yeah. What are we saying? Okay. The main difference is that's pretty good. Put this into the chat. Pre-stage is usually an introduction and working on some vocabulary. The while is going to be gist first and then a more detailed reading. And then the post is usually a reaction to the ideas in writing or speaking. Pretty good. With a while, we usually go from the general to the specific. Yeah, why are the receptive skills important? Because they help us to develop language skills, and then we can use these texts to teach grammar and vocabulary. Yeah, they help us receive and understand information. Yeah, we need to help students to comprehend, understand texts. Good job, everybody. We're just about done. It's 7 o'clock. That's it. We're finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Andrew.
See you.
See you. I hope you
Thank
enjoy
you
your
so
sessions
Thank
with
you.
Rosa.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Well.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, teacher. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.